So for today, January 10th, okay, this is for January 10th. So you go to your classwork, go to January 10th, you see 11024. I'm going to go ahead and start doing the video so like that we'll have it ready to roll for tomorrow, okay? We're also going to do some problems from the king, okay? So let me start with this one. This is now the order of operations. Now that we have learned about exponents, okay, we're going to try some of these. This has to be done in your homework journal, okay? So basically, I'm going to do what we've been doing. I'm going to do one, and you do one, okay? So let me get a new page here. We're going to label this. This will be HW 1, 10, 24, okay? And we're working with the order of operations. That's what you need to put in your homework journal. Now I'm going to do one, and you're going to do one. I'm going to do one, you're going to do one, okay? So the first one, we have 1 and 2 here. I'm going to go ahead and work with number 2, okay? That means you're going to work with number 1. So number 2, we have 18 divided by 6 times 3 plus 2. 18 divided by 6, this is number 2. 18 divided by 6. Let me split the screen for us here. So we have 18 divided by 6 times 3 plus 2. Okay? So if you notice, we have a division, a multiplication, and addition. We need to follow the order of operations. The strategy that we'll be using for that will be called PEMDAS. The P means that anything that's, I call this like level 1. Anything that's inside parentheses or any grouping, not just parentheses, it could be also the absolute value bars. It could be also the brackets. Anything that's inside a grouping needs to be done first. The second one is when you're working with exponents, which is what we were working yesterday with. Like if you have x to the second power, we need to work with exponents. The third one would be multiply or divide. So this would be multiply or divide. And the fourth level is add or subtract. Okay? So we don't have to put all this. I just put it here for the notes. The main thing you need to know what the P is, that anything that's in groups needs to go first. So this could have been really called GEMDAS with a G, because it's not just parentheses. It could be the absolute value bars. It could be a bracket. So anytime that you group numbers and there's an operation inside, you have to take care of that. So I use this like a checklist. So I'm going to look at my expression. And do we see any parentheses here? No, I don't. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put a check. I already checked that one. Do I have any exponents, little numbers on the top corner right? No, we don't. So we're going to put a check. Do I have multiply or divide? Yes, I do. We have both. Okay. So if you notice, we have multiply here and we have divide right here. When that happens, both of them are level 3s. Many kids think that the M goes first, but no. When we're in level 3, so we have divide and multiply, we go left to right. So this is important that we have to go left to right. When you have both divide and multiply, we don't want to multiply first. We're going to go left to right. So in this case, he will get the first caret. And we're going to do only 2 numbers at a time. So 18 divided by 6, I can go to the side to work that out. 18 divided by 6. Put your decimal in case we need decimals. And we start the process. 1, would that be enough for 6? No, it won't. 18, is that enough? Yes, we can get 3 groups of 6. That would be 18. So 18 divided by 6 would be 3. These are not negative numbers, so I don't have to worry about integer rules. Now, once I'm done with those two, the ones that have the caret, I could actually put a little box around and say, okay, I'm done with you too. So you know that anything that is outside the box has to come down. So you see that times, it will come down, the 3 will come down, the plus will come down, and the 2 will come down. You basically are simplifying the expression. It's going to get simpler and simpler and simpler. Okay? So now go back to your checklist. Now we have the expression 3 times 3 plus 2. So we still have multiply and divide. We actually have multiplying now. So this one will go next. 3 times 3, that's pretty easy to do mentally, but you could also go to the side, do your times tables if you need to. 3 times 3 would be 9. Okay? I am done with these two. So I like to put a little box around so I can, okay, I'm done with you. Anything that is outside the box comes down. See, so my expression became simpler. This is simpler. Now 9 plus 2 is way simpler than the beginning. That's why we use the order of operations to simplify the expression. 9 plus 2 would be the last step, which would be 11. Again, none of these had negatives, no minuses or negatives. So that's why I didn't have to worry about the integer rules. So the answer would be 11. Now when I go to my work, if you notice, there's no answer of 11. Okay? So what I need to do is figure out, okay, which one would also give me 11? Okay? Which one of these would also give me 11? So what you want to do is you basically want to see your steps. Okay, so we first did 18 divided by 6 and we got 3 times 3 times 3 plus 2. And look, it's right there. 3 times 3 plus 2. Did we ever do 18 divided by 8 anywhere? No. Did I ever do 3 times 5? Tampoco. Did I ever do 18 divided by 6 times 5? No, we never did times 5. We never added first because the order of operation tells me to first divide. So the only one that matches my steps following the order of operations, following PEMDAS, the only one that matches that would be this one right here. Choice F matches my step. Now I'm going to make sure. So I'm going to say, okay, choice F is the answer because that's what matches my order of operations. Now I'm going to check if it's true. I'm going to use PEMDAS for choice F to prove that I got the right one. So parentheses, nope, there's no parentheses. Exponents, nope. Multiply, yes. What's 3 times 3? 9. Bring everything down. Look, it's already matching the other one. And what's 9 plus 2? 11. So now I'm very confident that the choice is choice F. Now I can go to my choice and choose that. So the way I did number 2, you will do number 1 for homework. Exactly the same way. Go solve your expression using the order of operations. And if you go like I went step by step, 2 numbers at a time, I went 2 numbers at a time using the order of operations, 2 numbers at a time, you will find an expression that is equivalent to the original expression. So the way I did number 2, you're going to go do number 1. Let's go to the next one. Okay. I'm going to do this guy. Number 3. So number 3. Split the screen. And here we go, number 3. This has to be done in your homework journal. You will copy your expression 4 to the second power minus 9. So I might need to use the integer rules because there's that minus times 2 plus 10. If I forgot my integer rules, I can go to my classroom, go to the waffle, and go look for Jamboard. Go look for Jamboard. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down until I find Jamboard. There's Jamboard. Click there, and you will find that I gave you the notes of integer rules. They're right there. So if I forgot my integer rules notes, there's examples, there's the integer rule, there's examples with details of what I'm talking about, using number lines, using integer chips, okay? And then there's a summary on slide 6 of all the rules. If the signs are the same, I add and keep. If they're different, we subtract and keep the highest absolute value. If there's a double negative, we have to rewrite it to a plus and then follow the rule. And the last one is we use a graphic organizer that we call Dorito Man when we're multiplying or dividing. And I gave you the 2 examples. So if I forgot, you can always go in here and check how we use Dorito Man, how we use a double negative. These are other rules. How we use the rule diff, integer chips to do 0 pairs, number lines 0 pairs again. We have some. All the steps are there. If the signs are different, I'm telling you what I did. Everything is there in case you forgot. Because you might need the integer rules right now because I saw that minus right there. Okay. So now we have an exponent, a minus, a times, and a plus. We have multiple operations, so we need to use PEMDAS. As soon as you see multiple operations, multiple steps of different operations, exponential form, minus, multiply, add, we're going to use this strategy, PEMDAS. So we're going to start with level 1, parentheses. I do not see no parentheses. So I'm going to say, okay, check. I already checked Mr. R.Rivera. Exponents. Oh, yep, we see an exponent right here. This is an exponent. We learned that yesterday. So he will go first. Always on exponents, we're going to go to the side and we're going to tell what does this mean in math. This means 4 times 2. No. It means 4 times 4. The 2 tells you that you're multiplying the 4 to itself twice. 4 times 4 would be 16. So this here becomes 16. Bring everything down. Bring everything down. Bring everything down. So exponents, you have to expand like I taught you yesterday. This means 4 times 4. You go do it on the side. Get the answer. Put it there. Box it that you're done with that one. Bring everything else down. Go back to your checklist. Do we still have exponents? No, we don't. No, we don't. So then I will say done with exponents. Do we have multiply and divide? Yes, we do. We have a multiply right there. So we don't subtract first and we don't add first. We will multiply first because we follow this order. Level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So level 4 has to go first. So 9 times 2 would be 18. We can put a box and say, okay, I'm done with these 2 numbers. That's why they had the caret. Everything that is outside the box comes down. So the plus 10 will come down. The minus comes down. The 16 comes down. So I'm done with multiply and divide. Now we have add and subtract. Oh, we have subtract and we also have what? Add. We have both of them. And I told you, like the other problem, when you have both of them, we're going to go left to right. So who wins first? Subtract. Now here's where kids will mess up always on me. They'll subtract the 16 and 18 and give me the answer of 2, which is correct. However, since we're working with a minus, we need the rules. This guy is positive. This guy would be negative. So the rule is rule 2, which is diff. They were different. One was positive, the other one was negative, and we will subtract, which we already did, which we subtract 18 minus 16 is 2. But then we need to keep the sign of the greatest absolute value. So which one has the greatest absolute value? The 18. So the answer is not just 2. The answer is actually negative 2. And that's what worries me a lot, that some of us still do not see the importance that once I see a minus or a negative symbol, I need to use my integer rules that we can find in the classroom, waffle, scroll down, Jamboard. And the rule that I just used was this one. Not rule 1. The signs were not the same. The signs were different. Different is like different. So we subtract and keep the highest absolute value. The notes are there. So we subtracted like here. And we keep the highest absolute value. Absolute value is how far you're from 0. So 12 is farther from 0 than 7. So he has the greatest absolute value. That's why the number stays negative. Okay. So if I don't know what I'm doing with the rules when there's minuses or negatives, go look at the examples here on your Jamboard. And it tells you all the steps. You need to read the steps. It tells you there. Okay, go back to the problem. So now we're done with these two numbers. So I can say, okay, I'm done with you too. That's what I like to put boxes once I'm done with them too. Caret, I'm done with them. Box them out. Bring everything else down. Caret for those two now, because that's the last step. Add. So first we subtract it because we go left to right when it's the same. Minus and add is the same level 4. But we had to use a rule because we had a positive or negative. And guess what? We have again a negative and a what? Positive. So I need the same rule again. So I'm going to need the rule again of difference to subtract. So let me subtract. 10 minus 2 would be 8. So we already subtracted. And then we're going to keep the sign of the greatest, that means greater than, absolute value. So who has the greatest absolute value? Who's farthest from 0? 10 or 2? Post 10. So the answer this time stays positive 8. That would be my final answer. Positive 8 would be the final answer. And again, you see the expression what got simpler and simpler and simpler and simpler and simpler. It's really easy now. We have 8, a standard form of a number. Now, how would I choose that? Same way. We're trying to find which one matches my step. Okay? So 4 to the second power minus 9 times 12. Do I have that here? We have 4 to the second power minus 9 times 12. No, I did not add first. This is wrong. Okay, so we know that the answer is 8. So let's check the next one. 16 minus 9. There's a 16 minus 9. Good. Times 2. Times 2. Plus 10. Oh, so this is going to be the expression that they're looking for right there, which is our step 3. Step 1. Oh no, my bad. Maybe this one is the one. Step 2 right here. You see how it matches? Now, so the answer should be letter B. So I think it's letter B, but a good student will check it. So I'm going to go 16 minus 9 times 2 plus 10. Okay, so we'll have here the PEMDAS again. So here I'm gonna go ahead and first multiply, because we don't have parentheses, we don't have exponents, we have multiply. 9 times 2 would be 18. I bring everything down. Okay, then we're going to subtract. You see, it's already looking like the one that we had. We said it'll be 2, but because we have a positive and a negative, that's diff, and when they're different, we subtract and keep the highest absolute value, so -2. It's really looking like that one now, you see? And of course, the final answer would be 8. So now I know it's B. So my point is this, guys. If you go step by step, 2 numbers at a time, using the order of operations, you should find the expression that's are equivalent. So this could be an answer, this could be another one, this could be another one. Why? Because all these expressions at the end of the day will equal to positive 8. So the answer will be B. Okay? If you don't follow the steps, you might not find the expressions, and you have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 solving of problems, when you could only do one and then match which one will match yours. Anyway, the way I did number 3, you're going to do number 4. Luckily, you're number 4. If you notice, there's no negatives. So that's why I wanted to do one with negatives, so you understand the importance of using the rules. So for homework so far, we have number 1 and number 4. The next one, we actually have a story. Okay? And again, I'm going to do the one that has a minus, but with a parenthesis there, because kids might get confused. Okay? Now, the good thing is that they already gave me the expression. They're telling you the expression below can be used. So they're actually telling you, hey, you know what? You can use it. Sometimes they might tell you, hey, the expression below was used, but is it correctly done? Then I would really have to read the whole story. I'm still going to read the story for you. So we have here Alice owns a landscaping company. She charged the client $450 for a project. There were 3 employees who worked on the project for 4 hours each and were paid $18 per hour. Supplies and other expenses for the project cost $60. The expression below can be shown to find the Alice profit, how much she made. Okay, so she made $450, but now she has to subtract to pay the employees, and she has to subtract to pay for the supplies. So we're going to use this expression to find out how much did Alice really make on this landscaping project. So again, because they did tell me that I can use the expression below can be used, we don't have to really do the facts and get all the information in details, but it's good to read so you understand what you're doing. You got some money and you have to now pay your employees. There's 3 of them. They're being paid 4 hours each, 18 hours, $18 an hour. And then you also have to pay for the supplies, which was $60. Okay. So I'm going to copy this expression. So I'm going to go to my journal again. Okay. Let me get a new page. And this would be number 5. They told me that I could actually use that expression. I'm going to go 450 minus, I have to worry about that minus maybe with the rules, parentheses 4 times 18, close parentheses minus 60. Let me make it big now. That's the problem. Now here's the thing here. I need to remember that a number next to parentheses means times. So if I was you, I would already put a dot here. Because if you don't put a dot there, kids will get confused sometimes and forget that a number next to parentheses means times. Okay? So make sure that we put a dot there to remember that I need to multiply that. So this expression really reads like this: 450 minus 3 times 4 times 18, close parenthesis, minus 60. A number next to parenthesis means times. So that's why I quickly put the dot. They're not going to have that dot for you. I need to remember that a number next to parenthesis means times, so I need to place it. Now that I have a lot of operations, we have a minus here, a times there, a times here, and a minus again. I will have to use my levels of order operations. Level 1, anything that's inside parentheses goes first. Level 2, any exponential form goes next. Level 3, multiply or divide, depending who comes from left to right will go first. Level 4, add and subtract always goes at the end, unless they're in parentheses, they go quickly to the front. So my first check, do we have parentheses? Yes, we do. We have it right there. So I'm going to put my caret right here and say, okay, I'm going to take care of you two first. Now 4 times 18 is something that I cannot do mentally. Go to the side, please. Don't be doing it mentally and don't be doing it here. Here we want to continue our process going step by step, 2 numbers at a time, using the order of operations. So I'm going to go to the side. 18 times 4. 4 times 8 will be 32. 4 times 1 would be 4. Plus the 3 would be 7. So 4 times 18 is 72. Now bring everything down. Now I'm going to bring the parentheses down to remind me that a number next to parentheses means times, so I can go ahead and put it already. Everything that does not have a caret has to come down. A minus comes down. So this expression is equivalent to this one, but it's simpler. We already got rid of these two. So we could actually put a box and say, okay, these two are done, like I did in the first problems. Okay. So what's supposed to come down? Anything that's not inside the box. So minus 60 came down. The parentheses had to come down to show that it was multiplied. Okay. So that's why I brought the parentheses down. Go back to your checklist. Parentheses. Now here some kids think, yeah, we still have parentheses, but is there an operation inside to do? There is no operation. So we're actually done with parentheses. Do we have exponents? Do we have that little number in that corner? No, we don't. Do we have multiply or divide? Yes, we do. We have 3 times 72. Even if this was not there, that's still times. So this guy would be next. 3 times 72. Go to the side again. 72 times 3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 7, 21. These two give me 216. I am done with these two. Anything that's not in a box comes down. So you see that minus? It'll come down. That minus there will come down also. That 450 would come down also. Okay? So you see it's becoming simpler and simpler and simpler. I am done with multiply and divide. There's no more multiply and divide. We only have subtract, subtract. When you have of the same kind, same level, subtract, subtract, you go left to right. So I would have to go with these two first. We have a positive and a negative because the minus makes this guy negative. So I need to use the root diff, which I am going to subtract because they're different. And I'm going to keep the greatest absolute value. So 450 minus 216, again, go to the side of your journal and the paper so you can be neat, organized. This becomes 10. This becomes 4. This becomes 3. 10 minus 6 would be 4. 4 minus 1 would be 3, and 3 minus 2 would be 1. So this becomes 134. Let me check something quickly. Okay. So 450 minus 216 is 134. Now, who has the highest absolute value? Who's farthest from 0? 450. So that's why the answer stays positive. Now, I am done with these two. I am done with those two. This one comes down. So we start with the level for the last level subtract. So these two would be the last one. So let me put my caret. They are positive and negative again, positive and negative, because that minus makes him a negative. So I'm still going to use the same root div, which is to subtract. So I'm going to go to the side, 134 minus 60. 4 minus 0 would be 4. 13 minus 6, so you can regroup, will give you the same thing. This guy becomes 0, regrouping. 13 minus 6 would be 7. 74. Now is it positive or negative? Again, who has the highest absolute value? 134 or 60? 134, so the answer will stay positive. We're hoping that it's profit, so we want to make sure it's profit. It means positive. We don't want to have a negative that would not be profit. So how much money did she make or he make? $74. So, I don't have $74, so I messed up somewhere. So let's go check. Where did I Mr. R.Rivera mess up? I messed up somewhere in the subtraction because it should be 174, or I messed up somewhere. So let me see where I messed up. 4 times 18 was 72. That's correct. 3 times 72, 216. That's correct. 450 minus 216. Did I mess up there? Yes, I did. Right here. Mr. R.Rivera. But if you notice, many of you would probably still just choose, but this one looks like it. No, you let's go check your mistake. Here I regroup extra that I didn't have to regroup. Let me show you what I did. So I need to regroup. This guy becomes 10, this guy becomes 4. But I need to regroup here because there's enough. I have enough to take away from 4. There was no need for me to put a 3. So there's my mistake. 10 minus 6 would be 4. 4 minus 1 would be 3. Still matching. These two are still matching. But here, since I regrouped again, you see there? 4 minus 2 is 2. That's where we're missing that 100. So this should have been not 100. It should have been 234. Now we can do 234 minus the $60. So right here, this should have been 234. And then now we can do this again. This is 4. This guy becomes 13. 13 minus 6 becomes 7. There's the 100. So the answer is 174, not 74. And I thought it was too low. Like, it was 174. She had a lot of money that she had, and she wasted all that money. I said there has to be a mistake. That's why when I went to my choices, first of all, I didn't see no 74, but never just choose the one. Oh, it looks kind of like this one. Now here, it did look like it, and it was the answer. You would have been lucky. But the good student will go and check the work. Go check. Did I multiply correctly the first one? Yes, I did. Did I multiply correctly the next one? Yes, I did. Did I subtract correctly? And I saw quickly here that I had the 10, the 4, and then I regrouped the 3, which was no need for us. So right there, just go do it again. Don't be guessing. Plus, you have erasers in math. So you get your eraser and you erase the thing. Okay? So I can get my eraser and erase it, so like that I can do it correctly. Neat. Then get back my pencil and put 100. It still looks ugly. There. Box. $174. Okay. Anyway, that's number 5. The way I did number 5, you have to go and do number 6. Okay? Now again, it's a story problem. It says Lionel had $38. He walked his neighbor's dog 4 times and earned $5 for each walk. Then he and a friend divided the cost of the $24 of a video game equally. The following expression can be used. So again, they're telling you, hey, use this expression. So just copy it. Be careful. There's a minus there. Follow the order of operations using PEMDAS. Remember that when you have two things, like here we're going to have multiply and divide, but in this case multiply came first from left to right, so he has to go first. And be careful with a minus in case you might need to use the rules because there's a minus, and that's what you're going to do for that one. So for homework, you have right now question 1, 4, and 6. Okay. The next question. Okay. You're going to have 5 questions for homework. Okay. So right now, again, we have 1, 4, and 6. You have 3. The next one is going to become a little bit harder because now, if you notice, we have decimals. Okay, and some of us have problems with decimals sometimes. I'm going to do number 7 because I believe that's easier than number 8. Okay, number 7. So we have number 7, open parenthesis, for $148.50. Okay, 148.50 plus 9.50, close it, minus 3, parenthesis. What does this mean in math? Number next parenthesis, it means times. Minus, we'll put the dot. Don't forget it. A number next to parenthesis means times. Okay. So we have 148.50 plus 950 minus 3, parenthesis means times. A number next to parenthesis, right here, a number next to parenthesis means times. 1750 plus 8. Okay. So I copied it correctly. There's a bunch of things to do. We have plus, minus, times, plus. We have parentheses, groupings. So we'll have to use PEMDAS. Level 1. Level 2 is exponents. Level 3 is multiply or divide. Level 4 would be add or subtract. Here we go. Do we have parentheses? Yes, we have something to do inside this parentheses and something to do inside these parentheses. So when we have 2 sets of parentheses or 2 sets of grouping, we're going to go left to right again. So this guy will go first. Now, how do we add decimals? We line them up. So again, we go to the side. And we line up our decimals together. The tens go with tens, the hundreds with hundreds, the decimal with decimal, the ones with ones, tens, hundreds. Everything has to be nicely lined up when we're adding decimals. Now we're going to add 0 plus 0 would be 0. 5 and 5 would be 10. Regroup. But we do bring the decimal already down. We don't count like in multiplying that we count how many spaces we have to move. No. Everything is lined up in adding and subtracting. If we ever have subtracting of decimals, we have to line them up. So 9 plus 1 would be 10, plus 8 would be 18. Regroup. 1 and 4 would be 5. And then 1. So when you add these two, we get 158.50. 0.00. That's what we got. I am done with these two. Bring the minus down. Bring the 3 down. The parenthesis, which means times. A number next to parenthesis means times. Okay? So we have the new problem, 158 minus 3 times 17.50 plus 8 inside parentheses. So we still have parentheses to do. So now this one would be next. Now I'm going to show you what kids have done to me with this. Don't copy red. So basically, sometimes kids will do this to me. You're wrong. You're wrong. Because that 8 is 8 wholes. When a number does not have decimals, it is 8 wholes. If you put it like that, you're saying that he's 8 hundredths, which is 8 pennies. He's $8 and you just made him 8 cents by just putting him at the end. So you have to be very careful, guys. Okay? You have to be very careful. Let me change it to black again. 17.50 plus 8 does not have a decimal, so I have to put the decimal on the right side because he's a whole. He's a unit. He's 8 units. Please be careful. 0 plus 0, 0. 5 plus 0, 5. Decimal comes down. Remember that when we're adding, these decimals have to stay in a line. Bring it down. 8 and 7 would be 15. And then 2. So we have $25.50. So this has become 25.50. Bring the parentheses down this time because that means times. A number next to parentheses means times. So I need to bring them down. Bring everything down. Okay. Do we still have parentheses? Yes, we literally have parentheses, but we have something to do inside an operation. No, we don't. Do we have exponents? No, we don't. Do we have multiply? Yes, we do. A number next to parentheses means multiply. So these two are next. We need to use the checklist so I can know who's next, who's next, who's next. Now, when you multiply decimals, I always tell the kids, just get rid of the decimal at the beginning. Just don't worry about the decimal, just multiply regularly. Like if they're wholes, 3 times 0 would be 0. 3 times 5 would be 15. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So right now the answer looks like 7,650. But we did have decimals. We had 2 digits on the decimal place value, 10 hundredths. So guess what? I have to go 1, 2, and put the decimal back right there. Okay? Now we can bring everything down. That's kind of messy. So again, you treat it like either wholes, but then we need to put the decimal back. And why did I move twice? Because there was 2 of them in the decimal place value, 10 hundredths. 1, 2. If there was 3, let's say the decimal was here, I would have to move 3 times. 1, 2, 3 would be 7.65. But since there was only 2, 1, 2, I only moved 2. Anyway, finally we are going to subtract. So $158 minus 76.50 cents. 0 minus 0, 0. This one becomes 10, this one becomes 7. 10 minus 5, 5. The decimal comes down. We don't count like right now. We counted here how many and then move. No, it just comes down when you're adding or subtracting. Adding or subtracting, the decimal just comes down. 7 minus 6, 1. I have to regroup again. So this guy becomes 15. This guy will become 0. 15 minus 7, 8. My final answer should be 81.50. So first I did this parenthesis. Then I did this parenthesis. Then I did the times. And finally subtract, being careful with the decimal. I go to my choices. And I don't see no 81.50. So they want me to find an equivalent. So which one will match mine? Again, let's go check it out. 158 minus 6050. Do I ever have 158 minus 6050? No, I have 158 minus 7650. So I know that answer is not that answer. Do I have 155 times 25, 550? No, I don't have that. I have 3 times 25, 550, but never 155. That's not the answer either. Do I have 158 minus 7650? Let me see. 158 minus 7650. Oh, here it is. The equivalent expression is right there, the last step. 158 minus 7650. If I do that, I should get 8150. So that's why the answer is C. The way I did number 7, you're going to do number 8. Please be careful with, again, the decimals. Be careful with the minuses. Be careful with the number next to the parentheses means times. Okay? See how many problems over here? Yeah, no. We have to do 5 for today. So right now, you have your homework for 1, 4, 8. So far you have 1, 4, 6, 8. The last one for today. Okay. Our goal is to finish this by Friday. So that's why today is Wednesday. Hopefully by Friday we'll finish this. Okay. So the next one. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the one with the minuses because that's the harder ones because I have to do, you will have one minus 2 also on yours, but here it has 2 of them. It has 1 here and 1 outside. So that's why I want to do number 10. Okay. We have 20 plus, these are not parentheses, those are absolute value bars. Right now, I'll remind you how those work in case you forgot from the first semester. Okay. We have 20 plus the absolute value of 8 minus 26 minus 7 times 5. Is it 7 times 5 or 7.5? Yeah, 7 times 5. Be careful that you put that you don't put it like a decimal, that it looks like a times. Okay. PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply or divide, add or subtract. Okay. We don't have parentheses, but this is considered a grouping. So it's like parentheses, but we need to know what this means in math. So obviously this is going to go first, but I have to tell you what that means right now. 8 minus 2, 26. Oh, this is going to be diff. Because we have a positive and a negative. And when it's diff, we are going to subtract and keep the greatest absolute value. So 26 minus 8, we can go to the side. 26 minus 8. This becomes 16. That becomes 1. The answer is 18. Now be careful here. Check this out. Positive or negative. But who's farther from 0? 26 or 8? 26 here is a negative, so it stays negative. bring the bars down because this is absolute value. Okay. Now this means the absolute value of negative 18. So how far is negative 18 from 0? 18. So the absolute value of negative 18 would actually be positive 18. Now we can bring everything down. Now we can bring the minus 7.7 times 5, my bad. The plus 20. Anytime, here's a little note for you. If I have the absolute value of negative, let's say 7, the answer is 7. Because how far is negative 7 from 0? 7. But check this out. If I have the absolute value of positive 7, guess what? The answer is still 7. Because on the other side is positive. It's still 7 away. If I have the absolute value of negative 12, the answer is 12. If I have the absolute value of positive 12, the answer is still 12. So if you have the absolute value of negative 7, he's 7 because he's 7 away from 0. The absolute value of 7 is still 7 because he's 7 away from the 0 from the other side. So no matter what, the answer will be positive. So that's why I told you right here when we got the answer negative 18, we need to bring the bars down because we're not done. Once we have negative 18, the solution of what was inside, we have to now say, okay, what's the absolute value of negative 18? Positive 18. Now we're ready to continue our PEMDAS. Okay, so we are done with parentheses, the grouping of absolute value. There was no exponents. Now multiply and divide. Do we have multiply and divide? Yes, we do, right there. What's 7 times 5? 35. I am done with these two. This one comes down. This one comes down. That one comes down. Okay. So I am done with multiply and divide. Now add and subtract. Yep, we have add and subtract. When we have both of them, we're in level 4. We're going to go left to right. So these two would be next. Not 18 minus 35, these two. So I'm going to go to the side. 20 plus 18. We'll have 38. And I am done with these two. Everything comes down. Finally, we have our last one, which is subtract. We have a positive and a negative. I always like to do that. When there's minuses, guys, put quickly the label in and decide what rule. The rule again would be diff in this case. Why diff? Because we have a positive and negative. That means that they're different. And when they're different, we're going to subtract. So 38 minus 35, over here, 38 minus 35. 8 minus 5, 3. 3 minus 3, 0. So 38 minus 35 would be 3. Now we keep the greatest absolute value. How far you're from 0. So 38 is 38 away from 0. Negative 35 is 35 away from 0. So the answer will stay positive. I go to my choices. And I don't see choices. I actually see a box that I have to enter. So we're just going to put 3.00. Or we can just actually just put 3. We do not need to put that it is positive 3.00, but you can. I think the best thing to just do is just treat it like money, 3.00, and that's how I would probably want it. Okay. Oh, my bad. It's not. We did number 10, not number 9. So no, that one is not in the right place. Let me go number 9. Number 9 would be 3.00. Senor. There you go. So you have 10 problems to do. I already did 5 of them with you. Your homework will be 5 at home. Okay. So I would recommend that you watch the video, you copy all the problems that I did with you together, and then you'll do the other 5 at home by yourself, being very careful. Tomorrow we're going to continue. We're going to do these in class, which will be on Thursday. We're going to do 11, 12, 13, and 14. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then the last page is the toughest page, which we'll be doing on Friday. Okay? So this is again for January 10th. Tomorrow during class, which is Thursday, January 11th, we'll be doing prime factorization, something different. And then finally, the tough page is Friday. And we'll do that in class and submit. And then we'll be done with this week's work. Now, I have decided that the one with the king, I'm going to wait until next week. So I'm going to drag this guy, because that's when we begin tutorial. So we're going to just put the king this way. We're going to have two kings. That's okay. But I'm going to just wait for this king will be dragged this way. And we'll worry about this king first, because that's going to be due first. And then this king will be the last one. The kings are basically spiral review problems. Okay. So this week we just have to focus on two things. These two, exponents and the order of operations. Okay. These need to be submitted by this week. Next week, we'll start focusing on the king, because we'll have tutorial, and on linear equations, some algebra. Okay. That's for next week. God willing, Dios quiere, next week will be safe and ready to go for next week. Okay? Hopefully this helps you, because that's what your homework is. For the 10th, your homework again is questions 1, because I already did 2 in this video. 4, because I already did 3 in the video. 7, because we already did 8. 8 is your homework, 7 is mine. And they all match, guys. The way I did 7, you go do 8. The way I did 10, you go do 9. And that's all. Tomorrow we'll continue, which will be on Thursday. We'll continue with the rest. With 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'll start something called prime factorization, just so you can get the hang of that. And then Friday will be the last page, and we submit. We'll have our 2 grades already for this week. Everything has to be done in the homework journal.